Hey, hello everyone. We're just going to give folks just 30 seconds more or so to arrive, and we'll be started shortly. Hello everyone. We're just giving it a couple more seconds for folks to join. Okay, good day everyone. My name is Bill Kane. I'm the ServiceNow Practice Director here at Synoptech. I am here with Lori Eddlemon. Lori is a principal consultant in our ServiceNow practice. While we wait for others to join, I just wanted to cover a few items. First, if you have questions during the presentation, please enter them in the chat section. Second, we will be submitting some poll questions to the viewing audience throughout today's presentation, and we would greatly appreciate your timely responses when you're prompted with those poll questions. Lastly, all questions posed during today's presentation will be answered towards the end of today's session. I want to thank you all again for joining us here today. We look forward to your participation. Okay, good day once again, everyone. Thank you all again for joining us here today for the Synoptech Digital Transformation ServiceNow webinar. I will kick things off by welcoming each and every one of you. We are all here today because we have a keen interest in, or perhaps are already working with, the ServiceNow platform. During today's session, we will be covering the following topics: digital transformation trends in 2020, with a focus on what impact COVID-19 and Omicron variant have had on the service management world in general, and how that has impacted consumption of the ServiceNow platform. Lori will speak to some of those items throughout. How can the ServiceNow platform help accelerate one's digital transformation journey? Lori will discuss specific scenarios and cases where our collaboration with our clients helped our clients accelerate their digital transformation and ServiceNow journeys, even in the face of today's challenges. And throughout this webinar, Lori and I will both discuss not only our ServiceNow practice offerings, but other adjacent and complementary service offerings, all of which directly contribute to helping our clients meet their business objectives and business imperatives, as well as realize their desired business outcomes. Then towards the end of today's webinar, I will discuss our ServiceNow practice assessment offerings, all of which are designed to help our clients to A, ascertain their current state with regard to the ServiceNow platform. This could include an overall assessment of the client's service management posture, or we could get into specific areas of the platform. Again, we will be submitting poll questions to the viewing audience throughout today's webinar, and we would greatly appreciate your timely responses. And if you have questions as we present, as I said, please enter them into the chat. And at the end of today's session, there's a Q&A session, during which time we will answer all of everyone's questions. So Synoptech, who are we? Synoptech is a global systems integrator and managed IT services provider that can transform our clients' businesses for the better. We partner with organizations worldwide to help them navigate the ever-changing technology landscape. We help build solid foundations for their business and help them meet their business goals. With our comprehensive service offerings, inclusive of ServiceNow, we, in addition to our unmatched experience of our global workforce, we can enable our clients' businesses to grow, help them manage risk and compliance, and increase our clients' competitive position in their given marketplaces. Synoptek is simply committed to delivering improved business outcomes and unmatched service to every client, every time. We focus on the following sectors. So financial services, manufacturing and distribution, retail, healthcare, higher ed, software product companies, and media and entertainment. Some or perhaps all of you may know of, or maybe even some of you are quite knowledgeable about Gartner, the technological research and consulting firm based in Connecticut. Gartner, along with the Forrester Group, are two very influential consulting firms in the service management space. Gartner defines digital transformation as the process of exploiting digital technologies and supporting capabilities to create a robust new digital business model. ITSM platforms in general, and the ServiceNow platform in particular, can serve as a catalyst for companies to fully embrace and enhance digital transformation. The ServiceNow platform encompasses every aspect of a company's business, and consequently, the potential for ServiceNow to actually influence a company's digital transformation journey across all aspects of their business is high. So what does success look like in one's digital transformation journey? Well, success may look different from company to company, and this is okay, and it's due to the fact that success is strictly driven by a company's desired business outcomes and their business imperatives. And those business imperatives, desired business outcomes, vary from company to company and from time to time. The one common theme across all clients who have embarked on a digital transformation journey is this: ServiceNow can undoubtedly help them realize and hasten the digital transformation success that they aspire to. So these are the 5 cornerstones of digital transformation in 2022. Business process automation is a big one. Increasing automated workflows within a given business process, such as automatically assigning incident tickets to established queues based upon pre-configured business rules, or perhaps leveraging orchestration, which allows the ServiceNow workflow to hold while the platform communicates outside of the ServiceNow platform to other outside entities, such as an Exchange server, such as a Workday, whatever the case may be. The orchestration allows those workflows to hold while we retrieve data from the external systems and then come back in, and then the workflow continues on to completion. Cloud-based solutions are expected to grow in 2022. That would obviously include ServiceNow, Workday, Salesforce. Gartner is expecting that trend to continue. Hybrid work, with all the remote workforces now, and being forced to work remotely, the hybrid work model, this is a blend of in-office and remote work. An employee in this model may divide their time between commuting to the office, working from other locations. ServiceNow is absolutely tailored for both scenarios. Data protection and cybersecurity are critical for any organization, and the need becomes more acute in the software as a service space. This trend and area of focus is expected to continue in 2022. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Lori. Lori?
Thanks, Bill. COVID has surfaced gaps for a lot of organizations. We saw this when office closures started happening, and an immediate transition to work from anywhere became the norm. There was a new reliance on information and materials being available online. I'm sure all of you can relate to the new and growing demands to support remote workforce. This includes things like shipping laptops and telecom equipment for new hires and even existing employees, along with new processes to return laptops from work at home and equipment back to the office or a warehouse after an employee transitions out of your organization. When we think about how to support the remote workforce better, a scenario that comes to mind is a pretty typical response from an HR request, where the end user is required to complete a specific form based on their location. But it's a manual process for the HR representative to select the document and then manually email it or direct the user to a shared drive. The HR team has many times been able to confirm that they perform this action in a repeatable way. And this is actually great news because it's a task that can easily be a candidate for workflow automation, and it provides improved support for the remote workforce any time of day. In addition to efficiencies, we see more and more use cases around cost containment in hardware and software asset licenses. These use cases drove significant increase in our discovery and CMDB capabilities, along with hardware asset management. The need for things like shipping status and new stock rooms became evident early on during COVID. Teams saw gaps in business continuity planning and disaster recovery processes because they lacked visibility. In addition to COVID, right, we had power outages due to wildfires and hurricanes. They all tested our disaster recovery plans, and organizations found themselves in the spotlight to close those gaps and accelerate tooling to make the process more resilient. A trusted CMDB enables teams to make faster, data-driven decisions. That's the goal in many cases. With a trusted CMDB, we can accelerate service mapping, and that's what gives business owners that visibility to the what's connected to what, right? And when they have a strong understanding of the service and that infrastructure, then it's used to deliver that service. IT also gains the relationships to make better decisions during an incident and now during changes. I'm sure several of you have worked on internal efforts to improve change-induced incidents. And in the past, during COVID, there was a desire to move more quickly. And when you can't see what's connected to what, right, you increase the risk of change. So that was another area highlighted during COVID. I'll say that the question I'm asked about the most is around artificial intelligence and how you can accelerate the use of virtual agents and trend analysis to become more proactive. Implementing AI tools goes hand in hand with adoption of more mature processes. Collaborating on the process changes that drive tool improvements is a top priority for many of our customers. I'll talk about some of these use cases when we're addressing how we were able to quickly deploy capabilities to meet the improved and streamlined business processes. There's no doubt that we are seeing operational gaps surface more frequently during COVID, and with a greater sense of urgency from leadership to address these new and, quite frankly, sometimes old pain points that the business is experiencing. Now that we're not together in the office, that institutional knowledge your cubicle neighbor would share with you, it's just not as easy to get to online. That being said, let's talk more about how to ensure your digital transformation effort with ServiceNow is successful. Let's look at the drivers of a successful transformation on the ServiceNow platform. We think about digital transformation and growth, and this applies to both your processes and when it comes to resources. I see teams wanting to do more without having to increase their employees and tap into this as your business grows. Since COVID, I'm also hearing a lot about great experiences. I see a lot more emphasis today on the internal employee experience, and it's as much of a priority as being ready for industry disruption, right? And in this case, disruption could be a new product offering or how your team's transitioning to more cloud-based tools. There are many pitfalls to be aware of during your transformation activities, including a false sense that the tool alone can address the gaps, or that digital transformation is an IT problem. We first work with you to address organizational needs relative to productivity and agility with your cross-functional teams that will support your project. It's when you have a clear vision that is business-driven. And I also can't emphasize enough how important it is to engage across all areas of the organization. Getting clarity on what the organization can and cannot commit to is really important to know. Where possible, we work with you to deliver as early as maybe the first 60 days during an engagement. This might be in the form of a pilot where we deep dive into a specific area, or it's just organized in a way that recognizes your resource constraint, but yet we're able to deliver wins every few weeks. What's great about the platform is that the days of waiting for that big bang to improve productivity are in the past. So if you haven't started to embrace an agile approach, keep working at it because you're really going to see the value. In the top center of this screen, you see mitigating risk to grow. We assess the risk of reducing customization and taking advantage of ServiceNow out of the box configuration that's based on a standard ITIL best practice. Consider your business needs and take advantage of the flexible configuration in the platform and build a roadmap that's easy to adopt and deliver in an agile way. As an example, you can incorporate workflows and automation at a pace that reduces risk to the business. You don't have to put them all in at once. And in fact, they don't all have to be complex. There's not usually a need to develop new processes, but rather start with what you have and build on it. You see enhanced business efficiency here on the right, along with automation. Improving how your team collaborates and executes on a day-to-day interaction is what drives more opportunities to automate and enhance your internal business operations. In many organizations, this directly translates to external customer delivery. During the early days of COVID, our customers were creating and updating several of their service portals where users could see items related to the transition home within hours. Next, let me share some examples of how ServiceNow is helping organizations adapt quickly as they introduce new products into the marketplace, bring in new technologies and infrastructure from other transformation efforts, and even mergers and acquisitions. These are all driving digital success. One of the most frequent questions I get asked is, what are your other customers doing today? So I wanted to share what we're doing with a couple of those customers to drive digital transformation. We recently completed a global effort where the business outcome was to create a digital portal for residents on an Army base. This included soldiers and their families. They needed to enable a web-based system for those residents to submit housing maintenance requests and allow them to see the status of the request. We did this using customer service management. It was a dramatic shift from having residents send in an email or make a phone call during business hours. We also introduced field service management. This was replacing hard copy printed work orders and rolled out the ServiceNow mobile app, right, for all of the maintenance shops. The end solution was enabling clerks, dispatchers, and maintenance technicians to communicate with the residents from within the platform. So all stakeholders had visibility to the activity from submission through closeout. While there was a lot of focus on the resident experience, the maintenance shops did see improvement by allowing supervisors to easily transition work from one technician to another. Maybe they were out due to COVID or on vacation. And the operation teams now had data to more easily manage routing and work across the base. These had dashboards, and they could now see all activity, including work that was on hold and might impact SLAs. Digital transformation in this case started with the basics. For those of you with us who work in healthcare, you no doubt see governance, risk, and compliance are consistently at the top of your priority list. With this customer, a challenge to employing more automation and predictive intelligence or machine learning capabilities was complicated by significant customizations in the legacy tool that was being sunset. Through an assessment with teams across the enterprise, we were able to develop an approach that would balance productivity and transition to a successful adoption of ServiceNow with a focus on the user experience. This engagement was delivered in a phased, agile approach to demonstrate improved ITSM process adoption and automation compliance reporting in each phase. A key factor in success of this transformation effort was engaging all subject matter experts. In this case, we could answer the question, what's in it for me? During our workshops, it became clear to them how the transition to ServiceNow would make their job easier by automating low-risk items and reducing the hands-on time they spent for each request. We implemented automated discovery and ServiceNow CMDB in the second phase. We did a trust but verify approach for the CMDB process. This also demonstrated early on that the new CMDB was a reliable data source. After implementation, we continued to work with the customer on process improvements to further automate workflows across the system. In this case, automated workflows were both simple requests, something like one approval to one task support group, while change management was actually very mature and had quite a bit of complexity. Some of you have been in the situation where just one major outage in the infrastructure puts your team in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. This customer had an entirely manual process and worked off of spreadsheets and PowerPoint decks. Those manual processes made it near impossible to improve mean time to repair metrics that had a direct impact on the bottom line of the business. As a first step, we started with building a reliable and trusted CMDB using automated discovery to ensure that core infrastructure and business monitoring tools would be available to the incident and problem processes. The second phase was to deliver process workshops. ITIL was new to the organization, and obtaining agreement and an understanding of the processes was an important step in the transformation. The workshops delivered documented processes for incident, change, request, and knowledge, and it provided clear goals for their implementation. They had a few use cases where we could automate near real-time callouts for both proactive service before an outage occurred, in addition to break-fix repairs. We were able to significantly reduce the need for manual intervention. I wanted to share this next customer story to emphasize that choosing the right partner for your implementation can alleviate some of those concerns you probably have seen in the Gartner and Forrester industry reports. In the customer examples I've shared today, you can see that we take a tailored approach to create prioritized plans that enable your transformative goals. While the customer had gone live with the platform, they were not getting the value they expected, and they were unable to deliver service improvements, in part because they tried to forklift what they were doing in the legacy tool into ServiceNow, and they lacked clear objectives and priorities for their digital transformation. I say this to caution you against flashy marketing and promises of quick starts in a short amount of time. In addition to introducing a self-service portal, we were actually able to simplify their workflows, and later we were able to then add in complexity to their automation, but it matched updated business processes. Lastly, this customer's business is in the technology space, and they have prioritized employee engagement and automation to grow with the demands of the business and their employee growth. By first implementing the ITSM suite with a focus on hardware asset management, we were able to consolidate 2 manual processes that were a product of a merger. This was quickly followed by core ITSM capabilities to enable a newly consolidated help desk to adopt one set of processes and tools. Within a short period of time, we worked with them to implement the HR service delivery application. We took a simple approach with HR at launch, and over time added more automation for tasks, introducing templates, and then automated approvals. These teams fully embraced a self-service approach, developing service catalog workflows based on existing processes, and then we enhanced the workflows as the agents provided requirements. Because they've embraced workflow automation and knowledge bases, they're able to see the benefits of performance analytics to help identify areas for improvement, prioritize resources, and pinpoint where automation and self-service can drive efficiencies. These were really key in launching Virtual Agent and making it a rich user experience. Because a big pitfall of Virtual Agent is not having enough data resources to effectively help the user. I hope you're able to see how your foundation activity enables scalable use of artificial intelligence and makes predictive intelligence possible. And predictive intelligence, of course, is when the system can recommend incidents or recent changes that may be related to the record you're working on, or a knowledge article to share with the user. ServiceNow is learning from your data to improve your business outcomes. Let's move on and talk for a minute about where you start or prioritize your digital transformation journey. We work with customers at various levels of maturity, and regardless of where you are, we can assess your environment to provide a deeper dive on a path forward. Digital transformation is a journey, not a destination. And we get asked a lot about where to begin with ServiceNow. This is a phased map, if you will, and one based on maturity for a digital transformation journey. It's certainly not prescriptive. We know every customer is different. Here in phase one, you build the foundation first. This phase focuses on best practice standardization of people and processes, as well as discovery and management of your technology assets. This was the approach used in the oil and gas customer from the previous slide. Depending on your business needs, the CMDB can accelerate service improvements faster. Phase two is around improving the customer or user experience. Often these processes for creating and managing incidents are the most mature, and it's an excellent area to go after first. This is where you can focus on the user engagement and automate many of your repeatable actions your support teams do today. Mapping your assets to the business services. This is also where we would build out your service catalog and develop and deploy a portal for self-help processes to really reduce and eliminate calls. The government sector use case from the previous slide started with this area because it aligned well with their business goals. We partner with you to align with your goals and with the processes that will drive the greatest value. All right, phase three, I can tell you that automate is really the #1 priority I see in 2022. It's all about maximizing self-help and introducing artificial intelligence powered by virtual assistants. Keep in mind that virtual assistant leverages that service catalog and those knowledge articles. So that's why you heard me share that several of our customers have been focused on building that foundation because it's necessary to enable AI. This is where we look to implement proactive customer service operations to automatically open incidents and notify stakeholders when a potential issue is identified. And depending on what you have in your system right now, this level of automation is well within reach. It all adds up to introducing predictive intelligence, where the platform will help your agents and engineers identify root cause and resolve problems more quickly. And it's where actionable insights are really front and center. With ServiceNow, you have this platform that's tightly integrated with a cloud-first architecture that allows you to easily build on the foundation, regardless of your maturity. Let me just summarize a couple of key areas that I touched on that'll help you with your digital transformation. Have clear business objectives and be prepared to prioritize several deliverables necessary to meet your objectives. Be mindful of the balance and the productivity of your teams and your existing processes along with an agile approach. Keep delivering in a way that makes sense for your organization. Top-down leadership support can really help you stay focused and remove roadblocks. Incorporate your leadership into your communication plan. And if you have maybe a steering committee, a management, a leadership, include those folks as well, because they will certainly be able to help influence and drive your mission forward. And while it was implied in some of the customer examples, exploiting technology to create opportunities to grow and enhance the business, we can utilize automation to make most of your processes more repeatable tasks. Touch it once, right, and free up your team to focus on more innovative work that improves your bottom line. With that, I will turn it back over to you, Bill.
Thanks, Lori. And folks, I just want to take this opportunity to mention that we have posed a number of poll questions to the viewers. So once again, if you could please respond, if you so desire, it would be much appreciated. Okay, a little bit more about Synoptek's ServiceNow practice in general and our service offerings. Synoptek is an elite ServiceNow partner, which means we excel in at least 5 areas of the ServiceNow platform. What it also means is we must maintain certain levels of training, certifications for our technical consultants and architects, pre-sales and sales accreditations, and CSAT scoring. So CSAT is customer satisfaction scoring, and it is an excellent metric in determining how our clients feel about their entire experience with the Synoptech ServiceNow practice, from the very first time that they have a pre-sales or sales interaction to go live and beyond. Synoptech ServiceNow practice provides a tailored suite of ServiceNow services to help organizations standardize IT across a common, fully integrated service management platform, improve service availability, provide an intuitive user experience. It allows our clients to analyze critical service metrics across their business via the platform, and it helps them to reduce their enterprise risk. Our ServiceNow practice offerings can be broken down into three main areas, which I'll touch upon now. So on the left, number one, we offer managed service provider offering whereby our clients can leverage Synoptech's multi-tenant instance of the ServiceNow platform, only paying for the applications and associated user licenses that they consume. This obviously would represent and does represent a drastic savings to our clients when compared to the costs associated with the client securing their own ServiceNow instance, with the associated entitlements. Some of the value props, as you can see from the slide, it's a fully integrated people process technology solution. There's no charge for the approver roles. Clients only pay for fulfiller licenses, however many they consume, given the applications that they consume on the platform. And they have we're really staffed with business analysts, developers, just highly skilled ServiceNow staff are really there to assist clients so that they don't really have to maintain those staffing levels themselves. Here at Synoptech, we also offer staff augmentation and managed service offerings to clients in support of their own instance of the ServiceNow platform. So all managed service offerings include access to all of the ServiceNow resources that we bring to bear, including technical consultants, senior technical consultants, architects, engagement managers, analysts, and we have training resources as well. So that's really where, right now in particular, clients are having, all organizations across this country are having a really hard time staffing, finding folks for critical roles. This would allow us to help a client perhaps bridge a gap while they're looking while they're building up their own ServiceNow staff in-house. Or they may say, look, we have one or two developers here full time, but we know for a fact we're going to need help with like 24/7 application support, keeping up with all the rapid advances in technology, keeping up with the release schedules of ServiceNow. Twice a year, they upgrade their releases. And then helping to attract and retain top IT talent. And needless to say, it helps them manage costs and risks. The third leg over there, the systems integrator component, is we are an elite ServiceNow partner. We basically can resell entitlements. So clients can obtain their ServiceNow entitlements through us. We have professional services where we can help them implement whatever it is on the platform they'd like to implement. And again, we have highly experienced, certified, and scalable delivery model, offering the greatest roadmap to success. And speaking of roadmaps, we also have extensive experience helping our clients with roadmaps. So, senior director, C-level centric discussions around, how can we help a given client realize the full potential of their ServiceNow investment, right? We don't want to have entitlements sitting on the shelf, as it were. We want to help them really put together a roadmap, a comprehensive roadmap. We can help them with tactical initiatives, but we really can also help them with their vision and roadmap long term. So with that, we'd like to shift to the Q&A portion of today's session. So let's see. The first question is for you, Lori. So it says you spoke of transformation by phase. In what phase of transformation do most of your clients lie? And then I guess the second part of that is, what would you do to take them to the next stage of their digital transformation journey?
Well, thanks for that question. I think as you saw, it depends. But I would say that identifying very specifically if you're looking for automation to reduce, say, the number of touches to your help desk, if the issues that you're having are around change-induced incidents, or you are newly looking at SOX compliance capabilities. We'll work with you to look at exactly what's going on in your business and then put together a plan to address that, in addition to maybe whatever you're looking for to mature your process. So you heard me kind of weave in and out of, process is really equally as important as putting the tooling together.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to jump forward to another question for you, Lori, if you don't mind.
Sure.
It says you talked about predictive intelligence. How would I know if it is working as designed?
Great question. So predictive intelligence, like performance analytics, does require that you have somewhere in the neighborhood of between 10,000 and 30,000 transactions. Predictive intelligence does have its own dashboard. So it's looking and learning from your data and then making recommendations based on that. So it's able to help understand if there wasn't a knowledge article available for self-service in the portal. It'll rank that for you to see that you've had requests come in or incidents come in related to specific information. Like search engine optimization, we can use some keywords to help the system learn about what's happening. And you'll also see it early on in the process where, especially if you're using agent workspace, for example, in IT service management, the agent is able to start to see recommendations around knowledge articles. So it is a repetitive process, but it does actually come with its own dashboard. It's the key, though, is having enough of those transactions. So 10,000 can take maybe a longer time for a smaller organization, to where a larger organization, you might certainly start to see that value, 9 or 10 months.
Excellent. Thank you, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. Do you support ServiceNow integrations with Jira and Workday? And could you also speak to a few integration use cases you've supported recently? So, yes, ServiceNow absolutely supports integrations with Jira and Workday. Jira is very common. A lot of organizations leverage Jira in their app dev space. So they leverage it for, and they utilize it for change and release management within app dev. So we have extensive experience integrating with it. And then, as you would imagine, with ServiceNow being the preeminent service management platform out there, they've built a library of an extensive library of integrations. One thing we see a lot of is clients asking us to integrate with a lot of their monitoring tools. So, be it BigFix, NetBrain, just right on down the line. We frequently will integrate with those monitoring tools. SCCM would be another one, not that that's a monitoring tool. Intune, with the purpose being to have systematic discovery of configuration items for instantiation into the CMDB. Suffice to say, ServiceNow has an extensive integration capability. Pretty much, if there's a system out there, an API may already exist, or if not, we could certainly speak with you about what the level of effort would be to integrate to X system. Let's see. So Lori, there's a non-states question. What if you've already implemented ServiceNow, but you're struggling on combining the platform with within the strategic, digital transformation vision?
Yeah, that's another really good question. There's probably not just one answer to that. And as Bill was saying, this is where we would maybe sit down and work with you and help you to stitch that together, because ServiceNow can reach beyond your service desk. It can reach beyond your HR or people team environment. And we would look to exactly what was currently on your digital transformation strategy and see exactly where we could help and understand where you're trying to get to. So I think we're going to give you some information on how to contact us. I promise it won't be a painful conversation, but we'd love to talk with you a little bit more and share a little bit more about how we could support your digital strategy.
Thanks, Lori. Okay, next question. Can Synoptic help me write a business case for my investment committee that applies to my business? Okay, so I'll take a crack at that one because I'm actually working with some of the other principals here to do just that. We're a client is struggling with building their own business case. They're coming off of another tool, so a competitor's tool. I'm not super familiar with the ServiceNow platform and all of its awesome benefits. So yeah, the answer is yes. We can certainly help build business cases, and it would be tailored to your specific case, right? Like not everyone's going to run the gamut on what they're implementing across the platform. So yeah, whatever the case may be, we can certainly assist with that and have done so numerous occasions in the past. And to Lori's point, shortly, a couple slides, we're going to discuss how folks can reach us, reach out to us to speak with a ServiceNow expert. So we'll speak to that shortly. Next question is, how critical is the CMDB within service management and within the ServiceNow platform specifically? So I want to thank someone for that one because this is near and dear to my heart. The CMDB is actually what I call the central nervous system of any service management tool, right? It's where all the data lives, and it's absolutely uber important to ensure that that data is accurate, clean, and remains so over time, right? CIs, get retired. New ones are instantiated. So, we like to when we stand up a CMDB, we will always recommend that clients leverage the ServiceNow discovery tool and application. But even if they don't, I alluded to earlier that we can integrate with monitoring tools, SCCM, Intune. We can get a pretty accurate picture and ensure systematic refresh, if you will, through those integrations of our CMDB. And why that's important is, as I said, the CMDB is the central nervous system of the ServiceNow platform. We help clients once we ensure that let's just say they've implemented discovery. Their discovery schedules are clean. The proper ranges are being discovered. Everything that we are attempting to discover is being discovered and instantiated in the CMDB. The data is clean. We also look at not only the tool, but we'll look at the processes surrounding the configuration management process, right? Because there are tasks that need procedures, tasks that need to be done outside of the technology to ensure that the data stays clean. So one other point and one last point on the importance of it. We help clients operationalize the data. Once we know it's clean, being systematically updated, refreshed, we could then leverage it in, say, the incident management process, the change management process for change reviews prior to completing a change. Understanding the CI relationships, what devices and assets could be impacted with this potential change. So things of that nature. So it's really core to the platform.
I think we have just one more question.
Yeah. Does Synoptic have a routine upgrade offering, and can they help us with that and an overall roadmap? Do you want to take a crack at that, Lori?
I will. Absolutely. So depending on whether or not you're on a once a year or twice a year upgrade path, we can absolutely help you with that activity. And again, our contact information will come up shortly. And I think we've, shared a couple of times, we're happy to work with you on a roadmap. And there are a number of ways to go address that work. So we look forward to an opportunity to chat with you about that.
Great. Thanks, Lori. All right. Whoops. Onward and upward. Let me get this next slide. Okay. So we really look forward to, and we aspire each and every time to enter into collaborative partnership with our clients on their digital transformation journey. Some of the next steps that we'd like to propose to folks is, scheduling a call with us to define and discuss your key business objectives and challenges, right? To allow us to partner with you. Someone mentioned, the helping build business cases, right? So we can help you build that business case, show the value proposition and a mutual success plan. These are all things that resonate, at the C-level. And then mobilizing and providing support to ensure successful implementation. So one thing that I wanted to mention now, and it's kind of important to us. So we're offering a complimentary name, AKA free assessment related to the ServiceNow platform. So the process would be this. So, if you're interested in a free assessment on any aspect of the ServiceNow platform, whether it's just the overall platform, specific applications within ITSM, ITOM, right, incident, problem, change, whatever it is, the CMDB, you want us to look at your common services data model. We'll ask you, and again, next slide, we're going to show the means by which you can get in touch with us in this regard. But we would look to ascertain, your 1 to 3 ServiceNow issues that you'd like us to assess. It could be pain points. It could be where you aspire to be, 6-9 months down the road, whatever it is. So, we'll limit it to 1 to 3 items. Once we have a call to discuss what those your business imperatives are that we will be assessing, we'll send out a tailored, focused questionnaire to you and your stakeholders that you identify to us. You fill out the questionnaire, and then when you send the responses back, we would ask you to include some dates and times where you would be. Yeah, we would ask you to send some dates and times where you'd be available. We could jump on a call and then run through things, and then so we could offer the free assessment. So what the questionnaire will help us to better focus the actual session. So you send back the responses to the questions with dates and times are available. Our staff will review the questions, and then that will inform our actual 3 90-minute sessions that we would involve in the assessment. And then the assessment would include, your current state, some gaps based upon, the business imperatives that you outlined at the front end of the assessment, and then our recommendations for closing those gaps. So again, it's a complimentary assessment that we're offering. So I'd like to jump to the next slide. If you have any questions whatsoever about today's session, or if you want to inquire about this free assessment, there are our email addresses there. Please feel free to reach out to Lori or myself at those email addresses, and we will be anxiously awaiting some inquiries, right? Because we're really anxious to work with our clients to help them on their journey, help them increase adoption, help them prove successful to the C-level, help them realize their investment, and so on. Lori, anything to add?
No, thank you so much for spending time with us today. We appreciate your time.
Yes, thanks everyone. Really appreciate your participation today. Have a fantastic day.